History remembers kings more than queens. We hear about Alexander the Great, Ramses the Great, Cyrus the Great, but today, I want to tell you about a woman who did something none of these world-famous kings ever achieved. She defeated one of the greatest conquerors in ancient history. Her name was Tomyris, Queen of the Massagedae, ruler of the Central Asian steppe, daughter of a warrior people, mother of a prince, and the only person ever credited with killing Cyrus the Great.
A humble token of the great king's esteem, your majesty.
How quaint! Get it out of my sight!
Our story begins far from the civilized cities of the ancient world, far from the palaces of Babylon or the stone capitals of Persia. It begins on the Eurasian steppe, endless grasslands stretching so far that the sky seems bigger than anything else in existence. Cold winds whip across the plains, horses thunder in great herds, and nomadic tribes travel with the seasons. This is where the Massagedae lived, and where Tomyris grew up. The Massagedae weren't empire builders. They didn't farm, build cities, or carve statues. They lived on horseback, carried their homes with them, and trained every child to ride and shoot. Their world was harsh, but it made them strong. And among them, Tomyris rose not as a symbolic queen, not as a consort, but as a true ruler, a woman who commanded armies and held the loyalty of warriors who followed strength above all else. When her husband died, she stepped into power without hesitation. Her authority didn't come from a crown or a palace, it came from respect earned through leadership. She was a queen who planned raids, forged alliances, negotiated with neighboring tribes, and, when necessary, picked up weapons herself. And then, far away to the west, a new threat was rising. The Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great was expanding like wildfire. In just a few decades, Cyrus had conquered kingdoms that had stood for centuries. Media fell, Lydia fell, Babylon fell. What he built was nothing short of extraordinary, an empire stretching thousands of kilometers. Rich in resources, diverse in cultures, and guided by a man who seemed almost impossible to defeat. But Cyrus wasn't satisfied. No conqueror ever is. When he looked east, toward the nomadic lands, he didn't see empty plains, he saw opportunity. Control of the steppe meant controlling trade, defending borders, and proving once again that nothing was beyond his reach. He set his sights on Tomyris's people. But Cyrus was not reckless. Before he sent armies, he sent a marriage proposal. To him, it was strategic. To Tomyris, it was laughably transparent. She refused immediately. She had no intention of letting her kingdom be absorbed through a wedding veil.
Out of touch.
Imagine saying no to the most powerful man on the planet, and instead of accepting it, he shows up with a whole army. Tomyris was dealing with a level of male ego that honestly feels timeless, and the wild part, she wasn't even intimidated. If anything, she got sharper.
Let's keep going.
Cyrus marched east with his army and crossed into her territory. Tomyris confronted him and demanded that he turn back, but Cyrus refused, and instead of fighting immediately, he crafted a trap. He ordered his soldiers to build a luxurious empty camp, not just tents and supplies, but lavish Persian dishes, gold cups, rich carpets, and most importantly, barrels and barrels of wine. The Massagedae didn't drink wine. Their traditional drink was fermented mare's milk, mild, not nearly as intoxicating. Wine hit them with the force of a hammer. Tomyris's forces, led in part by her son Spargapises, discovered the abandoned camp. They celebrated, feasted, drank heavily, and many fell asleep. That night, Cyrus returned with his full army and attacked. It was a massacre. Many Massagedae were killed, and Spargapises, the prince, was captured. When he sobered up and understood that he had been tricked, lured into defeat by alcohol, he begged Cyrus to release him. When Cyrus agreed, Spargapises immediately took his own life. unable to bear the shame. The moment Tomyris heard the news, something changed inside her. The grief of losing her only son lit a fire that Cyrus had no idea he had just ignited. She sent him a message, one of the most powerful quotes in ancient history. "Return my son and withdraw. If you do not, I swear by the son I worship that I will give you your fill of blood." Cyrus ignored her.
Seriously, if someone said that to me, I'd be halfway home already. Cyrus thought he was untouchable. He thought nomads were beneath him. He thought Tomyris couldn't possibly win.
No. That overconfidence is exactly what destroyed him. What do you think? Genius king or seriously out of touch?
Like, imagine saying,
Tomyris assembled her army, horse archers, spearmen, seasoned warriors who had lived their whole lives in motion. These weren't soldiers trained to march in formation. They were fast, unpredictable, and deadly from horseback. Their tactics relied on speed, flexibility, and overwhelming aggression. The Massage met the Persians in a monumental battle. Ancient writers said it was one of the bloodiest battles ever fought between non-Greek peoples. Dust churned beneath hooves, arrows darkened the sky. The Massage attacked in waves, rushing in, unleashing volleys, retreating, and returning again. The Persians were disciplined, but they were heavy, slow, and fighting on unfamiliar terrain. The tide turned hard, Persian formations collapsed, units scattered, and somewhere in the chaos, the King of Kings, Cyrus himself, fell. Whether by arrow or spear, no one knows, but the result was clear. Tomyris had done the impossible. She defeated the most powerful ruler of her age.
Gross! Woohoo! Well done!
But the story doesn't end with his death. According to Herodotus, Tomyris ordered Cyrus' corpse to be found. When it was, she took his severed head, placed it into a skin bag filled with human blood, and said, "I warned you I would give you your fill of blood." It is one of the most chilling lines in all of ancient history. True story or symbolic exaggeration? Historians debate it even now. Some insist it really happened. Others think it was a metaphor crafted by ancient writers who admired her defiance. But whether literal or symbolic, the meaning is the same. Tomyris was a queen who refused to be conquered, not by deception, not by empire, not even by a king whose name echoed across continents.
tell me this isn't the most cinematic moment you've ever heard. A grieving mother bringing down a king, then delivering the most savage one-liner in history. Like, you couldn't write this better if you tried. And I was
And honestly, would you want her as an enemy? Because I would not.
So here's my question.
After the battle, Tomyris didn't seize Persian lands. She didn't march west. She didn't try to build an empire of her own. She simply ended the threat, protected her people, and returned home. That alone tells us something powerful. She wasn't fighting for glory. She wasn't fighting for conquest. She fought because Cyrus crossed a line that should never have been crossed. Persia, shaken, was forced to reorganize internally. Cyrus' death was a major blow, not just politically, but psychologically. It was the first time the world saw that the Persian Empire could be defeated.
Not.
So here's my question for you. Do you think Tomyris did exactly what the stories say? Or do you think the tale grew over time because people were obsessed with how jaw-dropping it was?
Personally, I think the real Tomyris was probably even tougher than the myth.
Hmm.
What about you?